BBC Radio 1 Extra Stories.
I'm RONNI HEREL and you're listening to part 2 of Classic Clubs on 1 Extra Stories. Last week we went to Bristol and London to find out how sound system culture moved into clubs, and we spent some time on a dark dance floor of Goldie's Metalheads night back in the 90s. This time we're going to the clubs that helped invent grime, bassline house and dubstep. First up, let's find out how a massive club in Milton Keynes became the birthplace of grime.
Hi, I'm Miss Dynamite. Oh my goodness, Sidewinder, Milton Keynes vibe, energy, crazy, about 50 MCs on the stage that weren't supposed to be on stage at the same time, but the vibe just being amazing, the crowd's going crazy, just kind of not wanting the night to end.
Some gal think them too nice, listen up in the place, them a pay big price, dog hot, but them a cold like I try scuba, cheap out as scary as spy, man in the venue, them a too raw, only wanna get a little cool, and I'm like chalk, cause them blah blah, not since I rest, but not a raw.
Yes, my name's FONTI, one half of the FAB, also one of the founders of Heartless Crew. Sidewinder was like a torch, like I'll look at the scene as being like a dark cupboard, you know, inside, and every now and again the door might open and people might look in, and you know, inside, they're not really taking it too seriously. Sidewinder kind of like come in there with torches and, you know, inside, shined up everything and polished everything, and it's more like come and have a look, it was more like that basically. So it was like a great selling point. Certain artists, if it wasn't for Sidewinder, they wouldn't have bust. That's it, point blank.
I'm Paul Spruce from Sidewinder. Come on. I'm a firm believer that 90% of the artists that you see, including your Dizzies, Wileys, Kanos, Lethal Bees, Tinchy Striders, I personally don't feel that they would be where they are today if it wasn't for events like Sidewinder.
I am BLACKDOwn, producer, blogger, DJ. I went to the Sidewinder in Milton Keynes a bunch of times. The ones I remember particularly are going with Stanzo from the Scandalous Unlimited, and I went with Narrows once, who at the time was just breaking as a producer and had just been booked for the first time. I'm really glad I went to Sidewinder because I saw grime evolving in front of my eyes. There was the odd Eskimo rave, but really there's no other way to see it. To see something in transition, like to see the birthplace of a genre is what every music fan should aspire to. It's just those moments you'll save forever. You'll only see a couple of those in your life. If you see a couple, you're probably lucky.
I'm CHANTEL, FIDDY, music person about town. If you wanted to be a grime star back in the day, there were certain boxes you had to tick. You know, getting a show on Rinse FM, at least an appearance on Rinse FM was one of them. Getting on the Sidewinder lineup was imperative. And if you headlined Sidewinder, you definitely made it. If you could get onto Eskimo Dance off the back of that, that was also a win. But Sidewinder was the box to tick.
In the late 1990s, Mark Lambert was running a record store in Northampton. Starting a night seemed like a pretty natural move. Sidewinder became a major fixture on the garage scene, just at a point when garage was primed to shift into something else. Miss Dynamite was one of the regulars.
Everybody was making like a phenomenal effort to get down there in any way possible, like catching lift with people you don't even know, you know, like it was that kind of like not to be missed event.
My name's Mark Lambert, creator of Sidewinder. I thought it was a good time to actually start experimenting, and that's when the music started to gradually change.
BLACKDOWN.
So to understand why Sidewinder really is so important, or became so important, you have to understand really how garage collapsed. It broke into kind of three pieces: a tiny fragment that was going to be dubstep later but wasn't for 5 or 6 years, and then this kind of division between the older, more Sunday scene, social, dressier, houseier crowd that had originally founded UK garage. And then the younger crowd, like, who wanted to dress in tracksuits or interested in MCs and bars, much more angry, upfront, hyped, that came in basically and disrupted the space. Really, the difference between garage and grime is a power shift between DJs and producers on one side and MCs on the other. The MCs become the focus.
Hey, yo, Sidewinder, we're gonna keep it rolling for you.
Slimsy was playing harder beats than what the rest of the garage DJs were playing. He was playing like the zinc tunes, and it was creating a whole different feel in the club. So you couldn't necessarily do the old school form of MCing over the top of it. It actually had to be something more powerful, more energetic for it. And people who I think really led the way in that is people like Maxwell D and Wiley.
The early performances was originally garage MCs and then were evolving into grime. As it fitted, the music got darker and darker, and so it got more stripped back. Tracks particularly like Pulse X by Musical Mob and Narrow Save Soul and so on. It left more and more space for them to do their thing. So their performance became more and more exaggerated to try and get a reaction from the crowd, to try and get a reload, to try and get basically, which is the ultimate currency in grime, just trying to get reputation. If grime is a reputation economy, then Sidewinder really is kind of their stock market.
FONTI.
The promoters would have booked about 3 MCs to come on at the same hour. Those 3 MCs will bring all of their crew with them as well. You won't really just see the 3 people who are booked. You're also going to see about another 10 others.
Most of the time it paid off in terms for that artist as well as the crowd, so as long as it's controlled, we used to allow that.
The MCs used to edge around the sides and try and like get on stage whether they were booked or not. It was always this big battle of whether you were booked for Sidewinder or not. The only people who were supposed to be on the stage are those who are on the flyer, but it never worked out like that because everyone wanted that share of the limelight.
Alright then, it's Jammer, Danny Weed, God's Gift, Wiley, D-Double, big up Monkey there, out to Sharky Major, big up the MCs inside the arena, Sidewinder, big things, Esky Dance, you know we get down already, it's Jammer, it's no long thing. Alright then, Jammer, let's take it there. Yo, if this don't work, then nothing will work, and I'll probably lose my mind and go berserk. So I gotta stay focused. If I don't, you will get dragged out of your brand new Lotus. We don't get booked cause they can't cope us, but we don't need money from no promoters. I gotta stay focused, cause I don't wanna blow your brains out and leave your head hopeless. I just wanna be big in the game, and I want the industry to big up my name. So I gotta stay focused and work hard every day if I really wanna reach my aim. I'm the gifted one with the gifted brain. When I'm on track, please don't get in my lane, cause I gotta stay focused. If you get in my way, then they're really gonna feel the pain.
Yeah, my name's Wiley, I'm grimy. I'm shiny and you won't get the time, but you won't get by, go past me. Don't put it past me, it won't ever outlast me. They're not as fast as me, they can't blast me. No sound waves will ever outclass me. Me and God's gift flute them quickly, and me and Nasty we blaze them quickly.
It was sometimes a battle to control people not getting onto the stage, because we all knew that they want to jump on the stage, get on the tape back, and that was obviously massive promotion from throughout the UK. There's a few MCs, there's Lethal B, at that time he wasn't on the flyer, but a few times he'd jump on with other MCs or even just jump on himself and freestyle.
Yeah, all that Lethal B, alright, all that Bruiser, all that Ghetto Easy, all that Demon, all that Sharp Mage. Yeah.
Looking on at these kind of young guys and stuff like that, it just looked like a mess, to be honest with you.
There's Kano. I remember down in Hackney Ocean when we done the awards, he was on stage performing and he wasn't actually booked, and at that stage I didn't really know too much about. I knew the name Kano, didn't know what he looked like, and actually threw him off stage.
So apart from manhandling future grime stars, Sidewinder had a massive impact in another area, performance. Sidewinder's Paul Spruce.
The way I always used to see it, it's the Royal Rumble of music. I believe 100% that Sidewinder actually schooled artists in what they should be doing to conform to the industry. Around 2004, 2005, I remember we had a lot of problems at Bristol Academy with them. They wanted us to have like the stage more organised, and we're like, that is organised. That's an organised grime rave.
Yo, this is me, MC Bushy B, MC Bushkin, one half of Fab, also a founder member of the Heartless Crew. Done a lot for music in the world, and it kind of really helped a lot of these UK artists to kind of become performers and kind of step up to the next level, kind of take that transition from MCing to becoming an artist.
This is BBC Radio 1 Extra.
I'm RONNI HEREL and you're listening to part 2 of Classic Clubs on 1XTRA Stories. Here's a bit of history. Back in the garage times, problems were afoot.
Garage basically imploded primarily after the shooting at Romeo's birthday bash in Astoria on Tottenham Court Road. Negative press around that and the positioning of that club being so central in London meant that grime scene just basically lost garage's club infrastructure. It's generally accepted that the police began to preemptively vet with promoters who would be on their bill, and if they decided that they didn't like or were concerned about the risk around the performers, that they would tell the promoter, you can go ahead with this rave if you want to, but we will probably cancel it on the night to prevent anything happening, preventative measures. The grime guys really couldn't get booked or put on nights in London, in their heartland. And so Sidewinder became this massive focus for everybody in grime from about 2002 onwards. But it was in Milton Keynes. It was outside the reach of the Met, and basically, but close enough that the MCs could get there up the M25 and the M1 within an hour or so.
You didn't have very many raves going on at that size around that time there. Sidewinder was kind of like the last man standing for a little piece. A lot of promoters who was promoters for garage wasn't really embracing this new type of energy, kind of like the grimy kind of vibe and stuff like that. Sidewinder, open arms, welcomed it.
Where's with the Manchester mess? Out at the Birmingham crew, out at the Leeds crew, out at the Leicester crew, out at the East London crew up here, out at South, out at North, West, they're all in there.
We were always working with clubs that we needed to get Tinchy Strider in. Tinchy Strider was only a 13-year-old MC at that time, but trying to convince a club into letting a 13 to perform on stage when you've got a load of people who they're already worried about what they're doing because they've got their hoods up and this and that, whereas we knew that everybody was not there was no threat there was no problem, or else they wouldn't even been standing on the stage with us.
It was intense. It was one of the scariest places I've ever been to the bathroom. It was like running a gauntlet. There were dudes just sitting on each place with each sink. They were just sitting there, like you had to walk past them even to go to the bathroom. It was, yeah, I never wanted to go to the bathroom there ever again. And so yeah, it did have a reputation for being quite heavy, but oddly Sidewinder also, when you were there, had this really populist side that was part of that too. Girls in short dresses just wanting to hear garage anthems. They wanted to hear like the tracks they knew. It wasn't also this kind of intense music experience. Lots of it was really populist and entertainist, and some of these guys like EZ and so on would smash it. Like Heartless with their entertainer positive vibe would kill it.
Let's play some more tune. Ladies.
It was this constant dialectic back and forth between those two different dynamics in this quite intense space.
I do remember a time where we had a little to do in Swindon. We were booking certain artists who had certain problems with other artists, and all I seem to remember was Ghetto on the stage and running one bar about Fleur to being a pum-pum, and the next thing a horde of people just charged onto the stage like to try and get Ghetto, but the next thing I saw was Mac 10 come flying over the decks, and I just see a little scuffle. Security took the offenders away, and then Getz was back on the set 2 minutes later. So it's nice to see that they've got a level of professionalism as well, because I know the truth say away from a club it might have been a different situation.
CHANTEL, FIDDY.
The only time I ever remember Sidewinder coming to London was one year when they did their infamous award show, which they did at Hackney Ocean, and it was quite a big affair. The main thing I remember is how many security there were, and it was the ones with all the dogs, which were really scary, and I didn't have anything on me and I was scared, you know, those ones, but the search was more like a sexual assault. But anyway, that's by the by.
Mark Lambert.
Also the security, which we should spend probably more on security than most other events. moments actually spent on the whole event.
There was one Sidewinder DJ who had more impact than most. A man by the name of Slimzy.
Slimzy? Said you don't know nothing till you know that I love you.
This is wrong. Them already.
Oh, Jimmy. Sidewinder. Slimzy.
Mark Lambert.
Obviously, he used to get on really well with Slimzy, and we used to have quite a few conversations over the phone, and he would actually sort of not advise me, but sort of dangle carrots about artists that are coming through, ones we should be seeing at Sidewinder, which are quality, and everything he did suggest did work out. The likes of Dizzy Rascal, Dirty Dukes, all these sort of people.
When you look back now at all the people that were booked for Sidewinder, they are the founders of Grime, and many of them are still the top boys in Grime. The most famous obviously is Dizzy, but he came through Roll Deep. Wiley obviously, Skepta is now known as an artist, but and as a musician, but really originally he was a producer, and one of the first things he did was called the Gunshot Rhythm, which was like, he made it for Sidewinder. It's as far as I remember, a refix of a Wiley track, but it was made for Sidewinder. People made beats for Sidewinder.
FONTI.
Because it was so big, it was like a mini concert, really truly. So anybody who actually performed on Sidewinder, even if you wasn't even getting paid, you'll be treated like a superstar because of how big and the event was and how well organised it was. It was the perfect platform for any artist to bust.
Now there's one more bit of history we've got to cover right now, and that's the role of the tape pack. Ever since the days of hardcore and jungle, club fanatics have been able to relive and share their club sets through the medium of the tape pack, or as it became known, the CD pack. Clubs would record sets, press them up and package them, and sell them through independent record shops. Basically, they were like the internet before the internet, a way of sharing music and vibes. And Sidewinder tape packs were massive. CHANTEL, FIDDY.
The thing that was really important with Sidewinder as well back then is we didn't have YouTube, we didn't have MySpace. So if you were performed at Sidewinder and you got on the tape pack or the CD and you were on the DVD, that was a massive form of promotion. I don't know how many they used to sell, but they were widely shared. So that was the way you knew you were going to make some money further on by getting other bookings off the back of that.
The Sidewinder tape packs are like a definitive document of how Grime evolved. And every set was recorded, and, you know, if you couldn't be at the club, or you didn't have the balls to go, or you could, you know, for whatever reason, you could buy the tape pack later and listen to it.
So the one that always sticks in my head is on one of the DVDs you've got Dizzy, Wiley and Tinchy on stage, and Tinchy at this point is probably about 15 years old, and it was one of his early bookings, but he stepped out on stage and all he did was yeah, let me see the gun finger, and that was it. It went off, and you know, and you're thinking to yourself, how is this kid got these people going that wild just from a few little, you know, words basically? And it was really competitive on that set with him, Dizzy and Wiley, a healthy competition, but that was just full of reloads and, you know, classic bars when you look back.
There are many DJs that became famous at Sidewinder. There were lots of garage guys there were lots of grime guys there, but really at that time when Sidewinder at his peak, the top DJ in grime was Slimzy. Nobody had the dub plates he had. He only played records that nobody had. He would only play upfront versions. He's literally was creating 8-bar grime in front of everyone's eyes. If you were on his set, you were instantly becoming more famous as an MC. There are Slimzy tape packs, but the one that really stands out isn't a Sidewinder live recording. It's a Sidewinder studio recording with Slimzy and Dizzy, and it's one of the greatest recordings in grime. Dizzy is absolutely at his most angry, intense, talented, complex peak, and so Slimzy, just with like music that nobody's heard before, and would kind of play in that way ever again. And all his classic bars and the lines that made him famous, like, they're there.
Yo, stop that, start that, get that, walk. Been there, done that, had that, walk. It's got a knocky, I'll take that, walk. Big mouth, black mouth, watch that, walk. Pretty girl, buff girl, doggy that, walk. Busy Rascals on the format. Yo, let me change it up. Some English slang, yo. Stop that, start that, get that, racks. Been there, done that, had that, racks. It's got a knocky, I'll take that, racks. Big mouth, black mouth, watch that, racks. Pretty girl, buff girl, doggy that, racks. Rest on the format, racks. Bad minders get backs like racks. I call the shots like racks. I got a rude attitude, far from a role model. I'm so full of trouble. I can't give a Ross clock, not a bit, can't give a racks after a shit. Racks, I still behavioural, no love for the law, feds doesn't mean more. Racks, I don't care where you live or who you with, you will get buried in the grass. I say what I say real fast, say it with style, say it with class. Go on, I'm dirty, I said it in the past. Don't like me, I said kiss my ass. Kiss from left to the right, kiss to my black bum cheeks, turn white. Kiss my ass for the night, don't stop till you see daylight.
The conversation we had with Slimzy, we basically had an event. I said, right, from this event we're going to do a tape pack. It'd be nice to do like a bonus CD from it. And he was like, yeah, cool, like, leave that with me, I'll sort that out. But that, I think, was a massive step for Slimzy, Dizzy Rascal, Sidewinder, everyone, the whole UK. At that stage there, we used to do the event and get the tape pack recorded and back out, distributed throughout the UK by the following Friday. So it was a very quick turnaround. But this was, I think, Monday night, Tuesday, so I was literally 12 hours out before we were going to miss the deadline. Slimzy come out of the flat, straight into my car, and I'm driving straight to the production plant, and that tape back came out on the Friday. I don't think it was well planned. I was thinking it was literally, they'd had the conversation, do you want to do this mix, Dizzy, blah, blah, and he'd probably said yes. Obviously nothing probably happened, and I think by this time I'd actually called him saying I'm just leaving Northampton. I've got a strong feeling that that's when the mix started.
Roll deep on these, put these MCs on deep freeze. Hit these, whip these and rip these. Come like Buster, we flip these. Please, don't rap with these. Fearless, angry, sick MCs. Don't like Christines or Britneys. Lalas or Tinchy Winkies. And this one's strictly for pickies. Old school Afro, dry whiteys. Barclays, Halifax, we stick these. Endless gunshots, we lick these. And trick these, CIDs with these. Touch my MCs, jump like fleas. Let your haters get chopped like trees. Wear Rascal to avoid injuries.
One thing I like about Sidewinder reminded me that it's really about the love of the scene, because a lot of the old promoters, they had some very funny ways, whereas like I'm only gonna stick to what I know, and I'm just booking this guy here, and this guy might be getting old all off in his grey hairs and stuff like that, but they don't give a monkeys who's new. They're sticking to their old boys. Yeah, and they didn't really give that many people a chance. Sidewinder, they embrace new people, even people who wasn't even that big yet on the scene. They're embracing them even before they're big.
Action more, but beef don't make you raw, it's money. And road league on beats you ain't heard before. So that act funny, and we'll call beats you ain't seen before. They speak in body language, a couple knuckle sandwiches, they're down for it. And if it's yours, stand your ground for it. If it ain't, put your hands up and bite your lip. You're on life, don't tax it, face don't axe it. Find out where your stack sits and jack it. We're not scared of none of them, not one of them, not any of them. Bring any of them, the boogeyman scares many of them. The boogeyman, yeah, the boogeyman. We're not scared of none of them, not one of them, not any of them. Bring any of them, the boogeyman scares many of them. The boogeyman, yeah.
Sidewinder helped the music make the transition from garage to grime. And it definitely helped turn Aggie grime MCs into the polished performers we see all over the charts. Mark Lambert.
It is and was, always will be, a big name. A lot of people look up to Sidewinder. It has changed people's lives, and I think it has made a lot of paths to a lot of people from then till now.
BLACKDOWN.
It was a total conduit, and without Sidewinder there wouldn't be any grime.
This is BBC Radio 1 Extra Story.
I love you, I love you, I love you.
back, yo, I'm the boss though. It's Captain Roscoe with a crossbow. She came, she don't get locked though. No slap, but you might get a coco. Yo, Jambo coming through like Rambo. Locked in, takes two like Tango. But she ain't the wifey, she can go. Yo, some stand up in the dark, keep a firm, steady start. Keep the beanies dusky, keep the beanies hot, flushing. What? Flushing MCs down the loo. Yes. If you don't believe me, bring your posse, bring your crew. Feel free to hit, cause I ain't trying to be your mate. Be serious, you want I lost the hour in my shoe. Look, it's an Air Force One. I got trackers by the truck, trackers by the truck. Yes. So there'll be days when I catch you by your chains. Young as I am, the forest got best to run. You better run, nigga. Fix up, sure. Don't make me bring the blinks up.